Hey, what's going on, everybody out there? I'm Pocan Joe, and tonight it looks like I'm going to be running the Blastin or Stash It tonight. So, our weekly review of comic books. What did you read? What did you like? What did you blast, stash? And what are you going to blast? So, we're running late tonight because I think I did an entire episode on our Facebook page, not realizing that the two weren't synced together. So, apologize. But if you haven't had a chance, please look down in the description. We got all kinds of things going on down into the description. We got Teespring t-shirts, we got cool gear, all kinds of stuff. Definitely check it out. Plus our individual pages of not only my YouTube channel, but Spectacular Spider Grandpa and Huey as well. And of course, all of our social media down there as well. We want to engage, we want to talk about comics and why we buy them and why we do these kind of crazy thing like keep them and spend money on them and stuff like that. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this. But it's going to be a little different than normal because I did not pick up any indies this week. For some reason, my comic book shop just didn't have any newer indies in, and the stuff that they did have, I just wasn't too interested in it. Just to be honest, just nothing I was overly interested in. So I didn't bother picking any of those up, but I did pick up a full stack of DC and Marvel this week, and we're going to break these down. And this is going to be a super short show. So if you read something, definitely talk about it, engage down in the comments. I want to know what people are reading, what they like, and definitely if you read something that I'm like, this was garbage, and you're like, no, you're kind of missing this point. Definitely, let's talk about it. Without further ado, we're going to jump into this. Let's start off with a classic, right? Superman. So we got this really cool story in here where um, Jonathan Kent, Superman or Superboy, right? He's in here, and apparently he's in a battle with his dad, and he's starting to realize that we're getting kind of close to the time that Superman passes away. Remember, he was in the future, the whole Legion of Heroes thing, so he kind of knows the whole story behind it, and he knows this time is coming up. And then Amanda Waller is also watching this because we're kind of on the tail cusp of that whole future state thing that happens. That was kind of clarified in here. Again, that whole future state timeline, I think, is going to start getting kind of smoothed out in the next runs moving forward in all these books, which is super cool because there's cool stories. So we're going to get a little bit more clarification in that. Spoiler, possibly, Superman's going to die again. Again. If you were alive during the last three times, yeah, we know how that's going to end. So, regardless, this was a super cool story because we kind of dealt with a child realizing that his father's not going to live forever, right? He's older now, and he starts seeing his dad for his vulnerabilities, right? Which I think is something that anybody can relate to. Super cool story. Really enjoyed this. I this is very high on my read list right now. Not because I think it's a spec book or anything like that, because I think it's a good story. Um, Moving on, Scott Snyder gave us Vampire or American Vampire 1976 in this. I'm liking this. I've been reading this since issue one. This is just a fun read, and this one had a big M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end of it, where the guy that was supposed to be our ultimate hero because he had the touch, he had the power, and apparently he decided to kill his brother and all of his friends in this. If you're not familiar with the American Vampire series, it was kind of campy and it wasn't a huge hit back in the day. But this is a good run. I think more people would enjoy this. Scott Snyder's doing a great job on this. It's his typical writing style. There's lots of twists, enough sarcasm in it, and somebody's always drinking whiskey. Super good stash for me. I really like this. But not my pick of the week. I want to make that clear. Moving on, we got oh, this was good this week. Batman, Urban Legend. So this is written by various artists or various writers in this one. Well, two really. We got Joe Kelly on this one, and we got not on this one. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Joe Kelly's over in Marvel. In this one, we get various artists. Everybody doing their own take on this, but the main story in here is probably what I'm most interested in. It's a Red Hood story. And we're dealing with Red Hood and his own shortcomings with Batman, right? That whole breakup between them two. He wants to kill. He's only allowed to operate in Gotham if he uses bullets. That whole breakup between him and Superman. Yeah, that kind of mentor or ward, as they used to call it, and child relationship. Now we're stuck in a situation where Red Hood may have to end up being that Batman and learning those hard decisions and lessons in life of taking care of somebody else because the kid in this story, his mom's OD'd in a bed. He's going to take him to his father. Come find out his father's the one that's slinging the dope. And then kind of gives old Red Hood what he thinks about his kid and life and everything else. So Red Hood murdered him. Shot him dead after he promised the kid that everything's going to be all right. I'm going to get your dad for you and, everything's going to be okay. Like, killed him in an alley. Shot him dead. Kind of like another storyline. Oh, kind of super cringeworthy in this. It was crazy good. So will Red Hood step up and be the dad that he really shouldn't be? Who knows? Let's find out. What's going on in the chat room? Oh, Samuel David jumped in. Oh my God, Joey Pocan. Long time no chat. What's going on, David? Hey, sorry the rest of the guys are not here tonight. Spectacular Spider Grandpa's going to wake up crazy early in the morning, so this is always the best time for him. And Huey had unfortunately another engagement he had to take care of tonight, so they're away. So you're stuck with me and my ramblings and rantings tonight. So definitely, if you read something this week, let me know in the chat. I'm not good by myself. If you've ever seen my own YouTube channel, you already know that. Like I'm horrible by myself. So definitely tell a couple of friends to jump in and talk to me about comic books. Moving on with the DC stuff. All right, so Joker #1 came out, and I went with this horrible, ugly cover where the Joker looks more like the Croc in Whiteface. Like, look at what is going on. How does that even happen? It's crazy. I don't know. All in all, guess what the story's not about? It's not really about the Joker. I know. It's 2021. Really, this main story in this one's about Jim Gordon and Jim Gordon being hired to go kill the Joker. And we kind of get like a couple of panels with the Joker in it, right? Because we all think that, or we're being led to believe that he was the one that kind of gassed Arkham, if you've been following that storyline. We all know he's not. We all know it's the Scarecrow. We know it's Scarecrow. This is actually the mayor of Gotham at this point. But nobody else seems to know that. And so we're just going to blame it on the Joker. It was Joker gas, or a modified version of it. Okay, great. I'm sorry, but Jim Gordon's not a young man in this story, right? And I'm not like bashing on old people. It's not really my thing. But we're talking about a guy who's been a police commissioner, retired. This is not a 40 or a 50-year-old man, right? He's up there in age. And some rich family is like, yeah, we need you to go kill Joker. We're going to give you stupid amounts of money because, let's be honest, you're poor. Whatever. Okay. The second story in here has to deal with Punchline. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Bluebird, if you don't know that character, we're in the same boat. Like, I've read a couple of it, and like this Bluebird character pops out. But apparently she's part of the Bat family. Who isn't at this point? And that's a thing. That's all I can tell you. I wish I could tell you more about that, but like that's a thing. And Punchline's going to go to court, and she drummed up enough internet clout to where she has followers that are like, free Punchline, free. She's not guilty. That murder, psychotic weirdo. Yeah. So when I found out that this wasn't really about the Joker, and I had to go back to pick up my Marvel books, I was like, well, let's just go ahead and get the Punchline cover. He saw more Punchline and he did anything else, so why not? Moving on, Rorschach. Right, so this is Rorschach number. It doesn't even matter at this point. Number 6. It's Tom King book. Sounds like it should almost be a verb at this point. Super depressing, melancholy. This 90% of this book is nothing more than Laura, our little sharpshooting cowgirl, right? That tried to kill the president. And the comic book artist, Will, who was there when she was trying to kill the president and they were working together, he was a Rorschach because she convinced him to be a Rorschach, we're assuming. Like she convinced the strong man and other people because the squids are taking our jobs and our brains. Yeah, insanity. Crazy stuff, right? And the investigators still trying to piece everything together. He sees these letters. Said the majority of his book is letters from them back and forth, trying to connect in this really kind of awkward, weird way. It just it was weird. I can't have any other words for it. Like she admits that she was going to commit suicide and put a gun in her mouth, and he's like, "No, don't do that." Well, by the time you would have gotten the letter like that, what? Like I'm not saying they sent emails. They were letters, like that. They actually had letters printed in here, and I was like, "That's stupid." Right? It's Tom King, right? It's middle-aged sadness is all it is at the end of the day. And I've said I'm going to drop this, and I don't know why I keep picking it up. And the last couple of panels in this, maybe we've gotten the real Rorschach involved in this, and that would be kind of cool to see him, at least for, I mean, his name's on the book. You think it'd be kind of cool to see him and maybe have him engage in some way. But the detective that's investigating all this, how he's putting all these clues together, I had no idea because that's not the story, right? He's just some character that has some dialogue in it. It's just so bad. So it's a blast for me. I'm still debating if I'm just going to keep reading it just so I can keep blasting it, like legitimately. Double S jumps in the room and goes, supported you on Facebook and now supporting you on YouTube, Joey. So yeah, that's a weird thing, right? So Huey has the whole live stream thing set up, and I accidentally went in and I saw the first thing that said blast for Stashin. So I clicked on it, and then like I did this entire show on Facebook already, and then I realized I was like, crap, we're a YouTube channel too. So I was like, because I didn't know how to simulcast. I'm not that smart, man. I just read comic books, right? So yeah, screwed that all up. They'll probably fire me. I'll be gone. And sit and write letters to a 19-year-old girl about how I used to be something and how sad my life. Yeah, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to me. All right, moving on to our Marvel stuff. Again, no independence this week because there's nothing in my comic book store. And the ones that were good were somebody came in and bought them all up. It happens. Although I did enjoy this. Well, the majority of this. We'll put it that way. Right? It's another one of those various artists, various storyline things. A lot of good artists on this one. A lot of good writers on this one. And I literally enjoy this. We had Joe Kelly on this. Joe Kelly, I don't think I've ever met Joe Kelly at a Comic Con. I vaguely know some of his work from the past, but this cat is killing it. This is a writer that knows and understands comic book characters, and the way he writes dialogue is beautiful. He wrote the first story in here, and I absolutely loved it. Scotty Young also did a story in this as well, and it was whimsical and fun, and you just knew it was Scotty Young and his buddy who does most of his art with him, Ramos. Yeah, right. He's involved in there. Super great. Kelly Thompson did a great job in this as well. Fabian, things start getting a little weird after Fabian, right? Because then it's Gail Simone, who I don't know why that person's allowed to write comic books. How that person still has a job, I don't know. And then Daniel Way did a story in here. And again, that was just confusing and awkward. And it's just, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get Liefeld. Now, I want to believe, and I need your help out there. Tell me, I think Liefeld is so stable in himself, which is a good thing, and in his performance and what he can do in comic books and his legacy in comic books, he does have one, that he control himself now, because he's still in this one. The feet are horrible, right? That's a running joke with him. The pouch thing is a running joke with him, and he kind of pokes fun at all this in there, and it was fun, and it was just kind of like he's kind of just making fun of himself. And sometimes a little self-deprecating humor fits. And I think we're getting the cool Rob Liefeld in here, not the frantic guy who, when he goes on an interview, starts going off about lizard people or whatever his freaking weird beliefs are, right? Like, he legitimately, it seems like he just had fun with this story, or maybe I'm just interpreting it incorrectly. But I mean, he has been doing comic books for a while, since he was a kid. And he was trained by Stan Lee himself. Like, they were buds, right? Stan Lee introduced him to the comic book community. So yeah, and yes, there's a lot to be said about his attitude, and even when he went through his douchebag phase. I think every adult has a douchebag phase where I don't want to hear criticism, just doing my thing. But he did a great job in here, and I think that really needs to kind of stand out for him, because he can write a story. And even though feet are subtracted from him in any concept, he's still on it and on point. And so that was fun. It was a fun read. And again, Joe Kelly probably had the best story in there. I really enjoyed that. If you haven't had a chance to read it, and you're not worried about buying it, well, it's a short read. You probably just read it in a comic book store. I mean, I'm not saying, cheap comic book store, but if you like it, you can at least buy it. Does that make sense? All right, let's talk about. Yeah, we're gonna go there. We're gonna talk about Eternals real quick. So Eternals 3 came out. Now, help me. I haven't had a chance to go back, but did we just have an issue where Thanos was coming back? Like, that was a thing, right? Icarus is like kind of got it handed to him by Thanos, right? For some reason, unexplained to us, he's got to go watch some kid now, because he's got some strong urge to, as best I can figure out. And it's awkward. The art in here makes it even more awkward. This is just insanity. We also get a lecture about the difference between nobody has a gender and nobody has a sex. We get that kind of political speak in here, and how Ancient Man never really believed in this. Whatever. And normally that wouldn't hang me up in a comic book, but that was the main plot point. Remember what I said at the beginning of this review? Didn't we just have an issue with Thanos, like one of the most deadliest villains in the universe? And we're trying to convince somebody to join our team because of sex, gender. Just gonna let that pause awkwardly for a second. It doesn't collide, and it's just garbage writing. I hate to say it that way, but it really is. It's just trying to push something to get a reaction, and you're trying to hang on to what you already did to make people buy the next. So they mentioned Thanos, right? Because you're thinking, oh my God, Thanos is back. What's going to happen in the next issue? Oh, it's political. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. When's Thanos coming back? Right? Keep that emotional run going. And I guess if it sells comic books, I guess, but I'm dropping it after this one, because you lied to me. You lied to me. Look, just. Samuel David said, yeah, I skipped Eternals. I don't blame you. At this point, I guess there's a market for it, and God bless the people that enjoy it. Like, cool, you enjoyed it. That's what's important, right? I didn't, and I'm gonna save the money from this one and probably put it into a new indie that comes out to see if somebody writes something I like, right? Or a new #1 from a new writer, like this Joe Kelly guy. Like, I think I'm crushing on this Joe Kelly guy. You'll find out why. Okay. Immortal Hulk comes out. Man, we can't help but hang on to this story, right? Because the whole concept of Myrtle Hulk up to this point was so epically strong that even when we're kind of going through this kind of weaker storyline, we're still holding on. And some cool things happened in this issue. There's no doubt about that. Like, the UFOs came out and they killed Immortal Hulk. I guess you can't really call it Immortal Hulk, but they killed the Hulk, right? So him and Joe fix it, and we're talking about Baby Hulk here, skinny, ragged out skin, all flappy, looks like a 60-year-old bodybuilder from back in the day, and his skin's all flapped out, right? They're in the place below, or hell, purgatory, whatever they're calling it, the place below. And apparently the leader's like in control of it. Now we kind of already knew that. We knew that was going to happen. That was already hinted to and subjected to. We got that. So Joe Fixit's like, I'm going to go spit in that guy's eye because Joe Fixit, right? However, the secondary story in this, where we're doing with Rick Jones being all split up and kind of horrified. Well, the old Alpha Flight or Gamma Flight team runs into him, right? They're like, "Oh my God, it's you! Oh, what happened to you?" And he's all, bleh. And then some random hero comes out of nowhere. They're like, girl team, buddy cop team. They're like, "You stand down. We got this under control." And it's like, that's not how you. Okay, whatever. Let's keep following it. So we got a secondary storyline in here. I don't much care about it. Main storyline, I'm holding on that this is going to become either one end quickly and we can move on to another storyline, or just end this at this point, because I'm a completionist and I'm going to complete this through. But I don't know. This storyline's killing me. It's just not that interesting. So it's a blast for me. Stash, but not stash of the week. Strange Academy. Is there anything bad you can say about this book? Like, even if you don't like teen drama books or whimsical fantasy, Harry Potter and the Marvel Universe type books, can you really read this and like, nah, I like this. This is garbage. Like, it's so well written. And I finally figured out what the key is in this one. It's the dialogue. The dialogue makes sense in it, and the relationships between the characters do as well. Double S says, aren't Alpha Flight and Gamma Flight the same, Joey? Yes. Yes, they are. They're both teams that nobody cared about, nobody asked for, and they're both Canadian. I'm joking. I have friends in Canada. I'm playing, but not really. All right, so back to Strange Academy. This is good because in this one we get Doyle, Dormammu's son, and we get this Calvin character, a new character, if you will. And he's kind of like the fat kid in the group. He's kind of edgy, he's a little sarcastic, whatever the case may be. But we find out that, well, he's kind of dark. Like, he's daydreaming about when he killed his foster parents. Or I'm not sure if he was wishing that he did, but definitely it happened. Well, we're assuming it happened. That's fair. Him and Dormammu have to hang out because it's Parents' Day at the old academy, and, well, Dormammu's not welcomed there. And, well, Kevin's this little foster bastard child. It's super dark. So they got to go hang out. And they're screwing around some archives area place. And some of the mindless ones, they got a problem with Doyle because his daddy's kind of made them the way that they are. And so they're going to attack Doyle. And Calvin's like, no. And his dark magic, shady stuff flies out of his hands and like, messes everything up. Like, it fucked everything up. It was crazy. So this kid's dark. He's more in the emotionally sadistic side than probably any of the other characters. And he's not trying to stop being what he is. He just is. Makes him unique. And also, like Emily, our main character in this, apparently her mom's super competitive, doesn't mind telling Loki off because Loki showed up to this. Because, we got two guys from Asgard in it. Whatever. That won't cram Loki into anything right now. He's got a show coming out. So we got to really force feed that branding. So, yeah. But still, cool, fun. Scotty Young, good job. Always does a great job when writing a book. And again, I swear it's the dialogue and the relationships in here that make this book so good. So we're going to go from, this is like an emotional roller coaster for me because that was so good. And then we crash land into this garbage pile. First off, don't be confused. Right? This is the secret variant. It's very important that they put these particular characters out here in case you don't know what characters they're ripping off in here to make the other characters interesting. Yeah, did it. Like, they didn't even try hiding it. There's a character called Cherub. right? He's got wings. He flies around. You know what a cherub is? It's an angel. He's angel. He's angel. Uh, and then the worst one of them all, Cyclops Lass. Really? He did that? And then there's one that's just straight looks like Gambit, and one that's got the powers of Jenkins. It's very unoriginal character development. And then they tried to make this edgy by making teen drama happen, right? Like a girl likes a girl, and the oddball kid hangs out with the super cool athlete because everybody gets along and holds hands, and there's no drama in this in a high school, right? Because that's not where mean people hang out, right? It's the rest of the world where mean people hang out. Apparently, somebody never been to high school. But in this one, we kind of get this kind of BS story where like the X-Men like know this team exists, they know they're mutants, and they're like, hey, we need to bring them to Krakoa, right? Because you're mutants, and we're super good guys, so we need to bring all of our people here and block off a wall because that's what good guys do. I'm gonna let that one sit for a second, and the irony just drip from that. Oh. Anyway, but there's a little bit of a problem. They can't go through the portal. When they go through the portal, they're just stuck in the same place. Now, this isn't interesting either. We had the same problem with Katie Pride. The same thing happened to her. She couldn't make it through the portal for some weird reason because Krakoa was like, nope, you need to stay on the outside. Like this island just kind of makes up its own mind whenever it wants to. And this is partially why I don't read X-Men anymore. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. And this is right there with it. Who wrote this? Veda Yavada. Doesn't matter. She writes these little teen drama things that aren't really comic books. They're scripts for Netflix or Hulu in the same genre as Runaways and these other little teen drama things, which is fine. Teenagers should have drama. That's what teenagers exist for. That's why they have hormones, so they can have drama, and things get way over exaggerated. Just wish you advertised it the right way because I really feel bad getting the secret variant, paying a couple of bucks more for it, and now I'll sell it to you for $1. Somebody put claim in there. I'll sell it to you for $1 plus shipping. It's a secret variant, so it's super rare. Yeah. Okay. You don't want it, trust me. All right, last but not least, my pick of the week. First, I had to pick up the Scotty Young cover for it because my wife collects Scotty Young covers. So I do my best to make Mama happy because then Mama lets me continue this hobby and do all this weirdness. So super happy about that. And this is, of course, the non-stop Spider-Man. And I had to go with the 2 per store variant. I had an opportunity to get the 1 per store variant, and I was just like, it's a black and white of one of the other covers. And this is one of the other covers too, but I like this kind of shading where it's light and it goes into the color. I just like that type of artwork. But what about the story? Well, Joe Kelly, again, writer on this one, gave us a revised version of the Spider-Man we like. Not the self-complaining, self-issued, self-whining one that we get from Amazing Spider-Man, but that old school Spider-Man that's taken on way too much and has to find humor in everything he does just to be able to deal with it at the end of the day. In this one, he's foiling some thugs. But the weird thing about these thugs is that they're super geniuses. Like they're super smart. And he even recognizes the fact that these guys are not the regular thugs. We're not talking like Doc Ock, just using brain to steal things. There's something else going on with this particular gang. And then we also got to deal with real life drama, right? There's a friend who supposedly OD'd on a drug. I say supposedly because they're going to investigate it. And one of his college friends is going to go in and she's going to try the drug and investigate this. And apparently this does not go well for her, and Peter Parker's got to go save her while fighting these guys and all this other stuff going on. The thing is just wall-to-wall crazy art in it, crazy dialogue, so much being packed into such a great story, and it's so great to have a new writer just kind of come in and give us a fresh take, but again, original story at the same time, but we can relate to the character if you've read Spider-Man's before, not the in-between issues, but like hard-hitting stories, and you kind of remember that dialogue. It really kind of hits home with all that, finding humor in the abyss, if you will. So that was super cool and super fun, and I really enjoyed that. And guys, that is the Blaster Stashin show for this week. What did you think about it? Please let us know. What did you read? What did you like? More importantly, what did you think of it and why? Uh, Sorry the other guys couldn't be here tonight. Wish them all well. Spider Grandpa get some sleep. Get you nice and fresh and vigored. And Huey, sorry I didn't get a message back from you soon enough that this was even okay to do. I apologize. I just went ahead and did it. I may get fired, guys. I'm just saying. I'm joking. But hey, it's real great. Last comments. I always enjoy your breakdown on Comic Book Show. Hey, thanks, Double S. It's always good having you in here. It's super good seeing you guys. All right, guys. I'm not going to keep you. We're calling this one early, even though I started late. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay away from one another. Wear a mask, because people panic. But see y'all next week. Bye.